The following program was produced by a community producer and does not reflect the views or opinions of the PACTV staff or the PACTV Board of Directors. The content contained herein is the sole responsibility of the community producer.
Everyone, this is Delicious and Nutritious. We are recording from PACTV, and we want to also thank the Plymouth Center for Active Living for supporting us. Beth is on the other end there, and our very talented nutritionist, Marcia Richards, is from Beth Israel Deaconess. So we are doing today something exciting. We are going to do a recipe, and it is called salmon in foil with mushrooms and baby artichokes. And I'm going to turn this over to our nutritionist, who's going to talk about some of the nutritional value. Then we are going to do the salmon in foil. So take it away, Marcia.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see so many people here today. So it's February, National Heart Month. I wore my heart scarf in order to celebrate. I also brought my heart with me. So if anyone has ever wondered what the heart looks like, there you have it, about the size of your fist. And this is a pump, it's an organ, it's a tissue, and without it, we won't last. So we need to make sure we take good care of it, so it takes good care of us. So I'm going to share my screen and just show a few slides to highlight omega-3 fatty acids, which are the healthy fats.
Marcia, excuse me for one moment. Tom, this meeting is being recorded, and it's cutting Marcia's face off as well as her slides. Can you get rid of that?
Just hit continue, Jerry. I think you hit continue on that.
Okay.
I think it's on your screen, maybe.
I don't, okay, it's gone. I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Why didn't I think of
that? I had just done it.
Okay, Marcia, it's yours.
Yep. Okay, everybody can see this?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to focus on omega-3 fatty acids, which are the healthy fat that we get from fish like salmon. And we have to have fat. Fat's getting a bad rap in a sense that we're always telling people, don't have much fat, eat low fat. We really should be eating a moderate fat diet, but those fats should come from healthy sources like omega-3 rich fatty fish, avocado, nuts, seeds, plant oils, less on the butter and those saturated animal-based fats. So we do need fat, so don't get rid of it, but maybe change the type that you have. There are two fats that are considered essential, and what this means is our body can't make them. Our body can tear nutrients apart and rebuild them into other things. It's amazing. But omega-3 and omega-6 are the two essential fatty acids that we cannot make. So we need to make sure that we get them from the foods that we eat. So linoleic is omega-6, linolenic is omega-3, and I'm just going to focus on omega-3. So omega-3 consists of three different fatty acids. ALA, which is alpha-linolenic. We get that from plant oils like canola oil, flaxseed oil, soybean oils. Our body can't make this ALA, so we need to eat it. We need to get it from food. Have some canola oil in a salad. Use it to prepare foods. Use it in baked goods. Flaxseed oil is also very tasty, and soybean oils. ALA, if we have that in the diet, some of it can be converted into those other two omega-3s called EPA and DHA. EPA is called eicosapentaenoic acid and DHA is docosahexaenoic acid. We get these two from fish and other seafoods. So we should try to have fish twice a week in order to get enough EPA and DHA. Try to have those plant oils during the week and some nuts and seeds and things like that to get the ALA. So why do we want them? There is some research that indicates having 1 to 2 servings of seafood, providing us with this omega-3 fatty acid, will help prevent cardiovascular disease. Studies are in progress about cancer prevention, specifically breast and colorectal cancer. Having plenty of omega-3s may help prevent these 2 types of cancer. Omega-3s have also been studied in relationship to Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and cognitive function. So some research is showing that people who eat more of these omega-3s from foods like fish and nuts and seeds and plant oils might have a lower risk of Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and other cognitive issues. And another condition is called age-related macular degeneration. And this is one of the leading causes of blindness in the elderly in the United States. People who get higher amounts of omega-3s might have a lower risk of developing AMD or age-related macular degeneration. However, if it's already begun, having omega-3 is not going to change the course of that disease. So how much do we need? The only research we have is how much ALA people need. Men need 1.6 grams per day, women need 1.1 grams. We don't have the recommended amounts for the EPA and the DHA. So 3 ounces of Atlantic salmon, I don't know the amount of ALA, it's not available, but we'll get 1.24 grams of DHA and 0.59 grams of EPA, which is a significant amount. Canned salmon, you'll get almost a gram. So put some canned salmon on a salad if you like that. Nuts and seeds, you will get 2.57 grams of ALA. So if you're a man, you need 1.6, having a little handful of walnuts each day, you're done. Same with women. And more is not necessarily going to be worse. Plant oils, a tablespoon of canola oil will give you 1.28 grams. You've met your recommendations. And some foods are also fortified. Chickens and milk and different things are produced in a way that they might be higher in omega-3s. So that is our omega-3 in a nutshell. One thing I do want to mention, I'm only focusing on food. Some people get their omega-3s from supplements. Please work with a healthcare provider, especially if you're on Coumadin or another blood thinner before taking too much omega-3. So I'm going to hand this back to Jerry, and we're going to learn how to make a delicious salmon dinner.
Okay, let's go back to PAC and let's see how we do this salmon dinner. One of my favorite things, omega-3 fatty acids. Go for it.
Hello, everyone. This is Chef Jerry from Delicious and Nutritious. We are at PACTV, and today we are going to make salmon in foil with mushrooms and baby artichokes. And this dish originally came from France, and they call it en papier or in paper, and it can be done the traditional ways to do it with parchment paper. I have found that I find aluminum foil easy to work with, and for the average person has aluminum foil in their home, probably don't have parchment paper. Okay, first thing, we are using farm-raised Norwegian salmon. Here is a lovely piece of farm-raised Norwegian salmon. Look at the color on it, the shine of it, and if you were to smell it, it has this clean smell of the ocean. And it's a dynamite fish. So, first thing that we would want to do would be, we want to rub our fingers along the top of it just to make sure there are no pin bones. If there is a pin bone, you can take 12 tweezers and just grab the pin bone and just pull it out. Most salmon that is coming into the country right now and being produced here is, does not have pin bones. Okay, so let's get on with what we have to do. First thing we're going to do is we need to heat our oven. So we're going to put our oven on 450 degrees, and we're going to put a rack in the middle. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to use a pan, and that pan is going to be basically a cookie sheet, and the cookie sheet is going to look something like this here, but it's got a rim on it. Okay, and now we're going to put this all together. First thing we need is the aluminum foil. All right, aluminum foil, this is a large roll, it's 18 inches, and we want a piece which is about 14 inches or 12 inches by 18 inches. This is heavy duty, so we put that over there. And the first thing we want to do is we want to give it a nice little spray of a vegetable liquid. There we go. And that works fine. And we now take our portion of salmon, and we're going to put it right here. First thing we're going to do, if you look at my work area, is we're going to give it a little salt. Then we're going to give it a little pepper. I like ground pepper, and I like it because it has a freshness and a little bit of a bite to it. There we go. Okay, that should do that. And so we have salted one side and peppered one side. We're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same on the other side. Why am I doing it on the other side? Because, you know, the skin is on here. So why do it? Well, the reason why you do it is because there's going to be liquid that's going to be mixing here, and it's going to be part of the sauce. So the little addition of the salt and the black pepper is a real good thing. So now we're there, and we have mushrooms, we have artichoke. Look at how thinly I have sliced the mushrooms. About 1/8 of an inch, it's fine. And this is I want to show you real quickly how we do the slicing. First thing is remove the stem, and the stem comes off real easy. We put that over there, and we're going to just slice. Notice how sharp this knife is. This knife is real sharp, and the reason being is that a sharp knife is a safe knife. And one of the things that I always do is I like to sharpen my knife. So, and this is an old sharpener that I've had for many years. Take the knife, it's got two sides here, one coarse and one fine. So I do this maybe 20 times, but I'm not going to do it 20 times. So 20 times on the coarse side, 10 times on the fine side, and just to take a look. Look, there is a little tiny bit of grayness there. That's because I've removed just a little bit of the blade, which is really important. That tells me that it is sharp. So now, what do we do here? We take it and we've seasoned our salmon. We're now going to take and we're going to put on our mushroom. And we're going to put on our artichoke. And we're going to put a little bit more artichoke on here. And then we are going to put on some little tiny pieces of butter. I like unsalted butter because I've already salted this. I generally do not buy butter that has salt in it because I find that they put more salt in the butter than I prefer to have, and we are Delicious and Nutritious, and Delicious and Nutritious, we're trying to do this nicely, correctly. Final thing is dried basil. And we're going to sprinkle that on the top. And the final thing that we have here is a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Do not go out and buy the $20 for the little bottle of balsamic vinegar. This is just a really, there we go, that's all we want. And we're now going to fold up one side. We're working on the long sides first. We'll fold up the long side and we're going to start rolling it. And look at how we're rolling it. Isn't that nice? Keep the edges together. We want to seal it, so we're sealing it with our hands. And we flip this over here. We flip this over here. And we have our nice little packet. Now, in the oven, it goes. And through the magic of TV, out it comes, all done. And we're going to gently open it up. But we want to do one thing. We're going to have cooked this at 450 degrees for about 12 to 14 minutes, depending upon the thickness of the salmon. Now, we also are going to use a thermometer. The thermometer, we want about 135 to 140 degrees with the salmon. Okay, and we now take it and, whoa, be careful. When you open these up, the steam will come up out of it, so keep your head back a little bit. But that smells good. Now, let's plate. Sure, why not? And we have our fish spatula. Always have a fish spatula. Nothing better in the world than a really good fish spatula. Center it, and look at the liquid. That is delicious and also nutritious. There we go. So, salmon in foil or parchment, mushrooms, artichoke, balsamic vinegar, butter, salt, pepper, and basil. That's it. And it works really well. And if you look, and let's say one thing here. If you want more color on this, take the packet and open it up and put it underneath the broiler. The broiler will give it a little bit more color. Personally, I don't think it needs it, but some people may want to do that. And it will just brown up really nicely, but you've got to watch it. Otherwise, you're going to ruin it. And that's it. We have completed our recipe, and now we're going to go to my associate, Marcia Richards, and Marcia is going to talk to you about the nutritional value.
Actually already done, so we're ahead of the game. So, Jerry, one quick, I'm going to give you my Stump the Chef question, and then let's open it up for questions from our group.
Go ahead.
I think you're going to know the answer to this. What is a female salmon called?
A female salmon.
What does one call a female salmon?
That's a really good question. I honestly should know.
I stumped you.
You stumped me. I'm sorry.
It's a hen.
A hen.
A hen.
Wow.
I know. Who would have guessed? A hen. I just learned that.
What is a male salmon called?
I have no idea.
I stumped you. Good.
You stumped me back.
Good.
A hen.
I think Mary has a question. She put her hand up.
Okay.
All right, I have a question for each one of you. Marcia, you mentioned with the ALA, canola oil, flaxseed oil, soybean oil. You did not mention olive oil, which is what I tend to use all the time. Should I go to canola oil?
Don't give up your olive oil because it's also a good source of omega-3. I just didn't have an amount. Let me see if I do on my little cheat sheet here. I don't have an amount, but Olive oil is a great oil, but maybe toss some canola oil in there sometimes too, which is
Okay.
good. It's, as Jerry has taught all of us, it's a neutral oil. So it's really good to add to food if you don't want it to change the flavor too much.
All right, my
You know,
question,
there is another thing about olive oil, is that if you want to cut down the amount of butter that you're using, put in a little olive oil, maybe half olive oil, half butter, and in your saute pan instead of all butter. So you've cut down the saturated fats, you've added some of the omega-3s, and it's a healthier way to eat.
okay, so I do have canola oil, but I tend to always go for the whatever the other olive oil. My question for you, Jerry, is can you use a toaster oven?
Do I do what?
Can you use a toaster oven for this recipe? A toaster oven?
A toaster oven? Yes, of course.
Okay.
A toaster oven is nothing more than a small, full-size oven. And the key is just do the setting at 400 degrees. And if you happen to have stuff on the top of the oven, because 400 degrees is pretty hot, get that stuff off the top of the oven, such as, you know, I keep a bunch of pot holders and things up there. We don't want to start a fire.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
So, Mary, I did just Google, olive oil is not a high source of ALA,
Okay,
but it's a good monounsaturated fat. Keep having it. Don't give it up. Variety. Remember, variety is the important thing in nutrition.
so I'll try to use both.
Definitely. Most
Thank you.
definitely. Okay.
I think Norma also has a question, but she needs to unmute. Okay,
Okay. And then
Yeah.
Marilyn was waving her hand too.
okay.
A question for Marcia and Jerry. Marcia, are the tuna packets that we buy, is that considered okay, or does it have to be the fresh tuna?
Nope, your tuna packets would be absolutely fine. That would be considered one of those 2 servings of seafood per week that is recommended.
Okay, thank you.
That would be fine.
And Jerry, I was a little mixed up about the farm-raised salmon. I
Yeah.
thought it was raised in fresh water, but you mentioned it's an ocean fish.
It is an ocean fish. It's actually, the eggs are hatched in fresh water, then it goes down into the ocean and it grows. The Atlantic salmon, which is what we're talking about here, will make multiple trips up and back into the fresh water. And just a little interesting aside, the Pacific salmon only goes into the fresh water once, where it breeds and dies.
Yep.
Oh,
The Atlantic salmon will do that multiple times.
okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Marilyn?
Yes, I have a question for Chef Jerry.
Yes.
I noticed that you used artichoke hearts. And my question is, do you recommend canned artichoke hearts or fresh artichoke hearts?
You can use both, but I think that the average person would
Yeah.
find it much easier to go into the Italian section of the supermarket and get one of the jars of artichoke hearts. It's easier to work with. I mean, I find it easier to use what's coming out of the jar, though I certainly can take an artichoke and deconstruct it if necessary.
Yeah.
So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you, Chef.
Thank you.
And there is a question in the chat. What would be good to serve with this? And I'm going to take this on from a nutritional standpoint. We
Go ahead.
want our plate balanced. And if you can see behind me, I've got my plate behind me. So I would suggest you have a vegetable and a starch,
Right.
whatever it is that you wanted.
Okay, well, if you want to use a vegetable and a starch, can I mention a few?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so personally, I like dark green vegetables,
Mhm.
and you can add a little bit of dried basil, some oregano, whatever, to give a little flavor to it. Keep the salt down. Now, what do we do with the starch? There's a lot of things you can do. You could, a rice dish like basmati or jasmine rice has a lot of flavor. It's easy to make. And some of you that have watched our show that we did with, using Oriental cooking, we use a rice maker. And All you do is you put the water in there, you add the, you take the rice and you run water on it first to get rid of the starch. Then you put the rice in the rice maker and add water, and away you go. So I think that's fine. The other thing that I really like is Israeli couscous, which is the couscous is maybe a quarter of an inch across, and it's delicious. It comes in multicolors. You can put a little seasoning on it, and especially that because of the liquid from the salmon, it's going to get into the couscous and it's going to add lovely flavor to it.
So I think we're at about 2 minutes now. If anyone else
We
has
are down to
a
2
question. So I have.
Oh,
so
Rose does.
Yep.
First of all, Marcia, it's great that you stumped Jerry. Doesn't happen too often.
I'm going to relish the moment.
Tell us about the skin of the fish. Should we eat it or not, or does it have a benefit? What's your opinion?
Is that for me or for Jerry? I guess
Go ahead, Marcia, you take.
Both of you.
You know, I honestly don't know. I know in some sushi recipes, the skin is cooked and it's included in the sushi roll. My instinct would be that it's going to provide fat. I don't know that it would be all that nutrient rich. I would have to do a little checking on that one. You stumped me on that.
I love it.
We do have 1 minute to go, and I have put the recipe as well as a handout on omega-3s in the chat. And I have also sent out a Survey Monkey link. If you could all click on that and complete it. So the show will end at 30 minutes. But Jerry and I are happy to stay here and answer some more questions.